requirement every single time we appear on camera. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Hollywood mate Connelly with the double biceps. It is in the contractor legal requirement every single time we appear on camera, and we're getting the double biceps from our guest here today as well. So let me introduce the man behind the World Series of Arm Wrestling, putting on absolutely amazing events with huge cash prizes and taking over the world in the arm wrestling scene in North America. It is none other than Gregg Sharp. Great to see you on the show again, mate.
Hey, Matt, appreciate you having me back on. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, we've got lots of things coming up for World Series of Arm Wrestling. The most probably important thing that we can talk about right now is the finals that are coming up. Is it November 1st?
It is. It's less than 2 weeks, November 1st. We actually start set up on that Friday, weigh-ins Friday night for those coming in early, and then weigh in Saturday morning, and the event's going to be a big one. We're expecting somewhere between 170 and 200 athletes. I'm projecting, which is for tournament arm wrestling in the U.S. on the quality of pros showing up. It's pretty unique. So pretty happy about it.
Absolutely, yeah. We can see here we've got the season 4, $125,000 in cash and prizes. November 1st, it's going to be at the San Diego Harley-Davidson showroom, which is worth going on to see regardless of whether you're competing or not. And, weigh-ins on Friday and Saturday as well. You've got a whole bunch of different weight classes there, and kids are allowed to attend as well. You've got masters classes, women's open, left and right, amateur and pro. So all sorts of things going on at that event, and I've got a screen here which shows the breakdown of the prize money as well. So we've got $125,000 in cash, $70,000 in cash to win. Unbelievable! This is by far the biggest paying tournament structure that I've seen anywhere around. And you have a look here, like in all of these classes, first place $3,500. $2,000 per second. Overall, $2,500 for right and left. I mean, wow! Somebody, as you said here, somebody could walk away with $15,000 in their pocket.
We're pretty lucky. This is our 4th year, Matt, and as we've continued to grow sponsor-wise and production-wise, and for me, it's always been a reinvest. I'm unique in the fact that I don't do the World Series of Arm Wrestling to pay my mortgage, right? I mean, I do this to build a product, to build an organization that, certainly by 2027, if not next year, we'll be at 100,000 or better in cash, and then additional prizes. This year, we, with the prize money in terms of but then you put the sponsors for the hotel rooms in. We have 140 hotel room nights between athletes that are out there. That's, you put $300 on a hotel night, that's $42,000 in hotel rooms. You're not dealing with the small end anymore. And with our sponsors, the watches, we added up, not accumulated, but accrued. The total for this season, I think we're somewhere just shy of $200,000 when you look at, some of the participation from our regionals, the hotels, the watches, the sponsors in terms of, the supplements and all the prize packages that are going out. I mean, we continue to grow. We will tip 200,000 next year without doubt. That's not even a question anymore with us. It just really, it's really great to see. And it's the athletes that continue to develop our league, the level of competition from overseas coming over, the level of competition that's right here in the U.S., names that are synonymous with world championships are all coming in, and that's a testament of several things. But I think the biggest thing it's a testament is we run a smooth operation, and you're never in doubt that if you win, you're walking away with the money, right? I mean, there's a value to that, right? I mean, it's the end of the day. You don't want to go to a tournament, spend a whole lot of money, have a chance to win 15 grand, and find out that your promoter forgot to do a Venmo transfer, right? I mean, but we're unique. I take the business as a business. I built it as a business. I continue to build on sponsors. ESPN and I had a conversation last week. They're doubling our airtime this coming year, which allows for a lot bigger sponsor participation. They're picking up more of our inventory on their app. And Inside Arm Wrestling, we're working out a deal with them on that. We have a lot of irons in the fire for arm wrestling, and I think that's going to contribute greatly to the growth. And as you know, we have the house, and we talked about dancing very, very far away from that as we're in post-production. But I think all of these things, Matt, in value, in terms of the big picture, continues to help everyone. And I think that's one of the other values that we bring in, is that by keeping good quality events that live up to what they say, I think more sponsors will find their way to all events, because they see the sport now as a viable sport for them to make an investment in. And it's a good feeling.
Yeah, well, you've done a tremendous job there, and it continues to grow. And you're putting on tournaments all throughout the year, and it all sort of culminates towards this November finals event, which is November 1st in San Diego. And some of the competitors that are going to be turning up there to compete for this title are some of the absolute elite best in the country, in North America and Canada, and this internationals that are coming over. It's going to be a very tough tournament to win.
I anticipate having. And again, it's a great problem to have, but I anticipate that every weight class will be somewhere between 20 and 40 arm wrestlers per pro class.
Yeah.
It's a double elimination tournament. So when you start looking at that level of competition, you've got to be on the top of your game. There is the luck of the draw, but the top arm wrestlers are going to come to the A side, and then it's a battle of the B side, right? I mean, there's can only be one A puller, right? At the end of the bracket, there's one guy that's going to be undefeated, and then there's this gaggle of really strong, 2 through 10 that are going to be, trying to see who can get through that bracket on the B side to meet for a chance to even it up and pull ahead and win the weight class. So, man, I know the names, the international names that are coming over. Mexico is having a huge team come up. I mean, that's great to see. But you never know until October 31st and November 1st, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we'll know on weigh-ins. We'll know when brackets are selected and populated, and we've anticipated for the amount of growth by running 4 tables. So each weight class on the pro side and amateur side will have a unique table specifically for that weight class. So that way there's not a lot of jumping around on stage. Our amateurs will then bleed into our masters and women, which will each have an identifiable table as well. We'll come back for the finals, how we always do it, then we do the overalls. And, with that number of competitors, someone might think that it's going to take us 7, 8, 9 hours, but we're going to get it done in 4.5. We always do. It's our, I've allotted for the table time, the refs to come in, the bracket, programmers to be here, and barring things that can always go wrong, I think we're pretty much ready.
Yeah, absolutely. When you were creating the World Series, what sort of rule structure, or did you look at sort of what's out there and then adjust what you think could be done better with the rules or with the way that the matches are done? Or did you sort of have like a pre-planned thing that you just sort of executed, and have you changed stuff along the way as well?
Great question. I looked at the rule set. I mean, WAF has a universal rule set. I mean, it they're kind of the basis of all major promotional values that have been around for a long time. The problem that comes involved with rule sets like that is that it's not made for broadcast, and that's when I got into this to the promotional value of this and programming value. I had to look at how to create a concise product that has a fair rule set, has the speed of delivery, and keep it simple, right? So we went with the set ref script. We don't allow you to, battle for your grip to get started. We go directly into the ref script, and then we set the hands, right? The thumbs, cap, no cap. You have a choice to strap or no strap from the get. Both have to agree. If they agree, you can go to the strap. But it leads for better development on a production end. And the other thing that I did away with, which I kind of tweaked a little bit to make us more unique, because we don't want to always be the same, is we went with the 3 foul system instead of a warning. I always call it wiffle ball rules, right? 3 fouls is like 3 strikes, you're out. And what I find is with that, it simplifies again where you stand at all times, right? I mean, did you give them a warning? Is it, you can offset fouls. We do that, but I think the rule set is unique enough that it gives us, our own little flavor being WSA. It makes it right for programmatic development, and it stays somewhat within the major rule set of WAF. I always call it a modified WAF, but that's how we came up with it. I think it works. It allows for speed of production. And I think that's the other thing that brings the value, because as an arm wrestler, you don't want to be on a tournament with 200 athletes that takes 12 hours to finish. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why it works.
Yeah, one of the rules that I really like, and I'll probably look at implementing that into AWE, is your slip in a losing position. If they're beneath the height of the pole that you've got to hold on to and the pin pad, and you slip under, then that's called a loss. If you slip over, then it's just a slip. But you see so many matches where people are about to lose and they're like, bail out at the bottom.
And we also run it as you foul. If you elbow foul in a losing position in that zone, right? I mean, it's still a very small zone, but if you foul, then it's a loss as well. I mean, you can't. We don't allow you to bail at the very final moment with the thought that you're going to get a restart. Yeah. As long as you're making an offensive move, right? Then of course. That's not trying to escape. That's trying to win. But if you're fouling on purpose, and listen, we all know in arm wrestling when people foul on purpose, right? It's not unique to be here and then to be here, right? I mean, it's not. When that motion goes and your elbow goes off the back of the pad, it's not because you're trying to put it into third gear. It's because you're trying to get a restart.
Yes.
And so we take that out of it, and I think that's fair, right? I mean. We want people to win. I don't want people to foul out, but again, I don't want to use the foul system as a manipulation system because I think it's unfair to the promotion as a whole. But again, it becomes bad TV. It becomes bad visuals, bad optics, and we have such a small niche of sports enthusiasts as a whole. Getting it out, again, I say this all the time, getting it out to the atypical fan, you have to give them something that they are, optically invested in, that they can understand, and they want to keep watching and not question. And so that's how I kind of came up with it all.
Yeah, well, I completely agree with that from the audience perspective. And a lot of sort of promotions or organizations that I've seen out there that don't take that into consideration, that the people that you're trying to build an audience, build attention, get more people involved in the sport, get more competitors, which will help it grow. But then you put an event on where people are bored within 3 minutes, and it's like, when is the arm wrestling going to happen? They've had 3 starts, and this guy seems to win over and over, but they keep restarting it, and it's like, yeah, very frustrating.
I mean, take major sports, right? Imagine you watch a football game, and every time they go to snap the ball, and football for us is different than football international, but every time they snap the ball to start a play, there's an offsides, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If there was a penalty every time, people would stop watching it. It's just not exciting, right?
Yeah.
If in basketball, every time that LeBron travels, they call traveling. I mean, it'd be a boring game. And LeBron has traveled quite a bit over his career. But if you look at sports as a whole, and I think this is a unique value that it is relatable. Major League Baseball right now might be, in my opinion, the pinnacle of sports in America.
Wow.
And that's as a promoter. And as a fan, I think football has lost a bit of its steam over the years. They've modified the rules to water it down to make it less physical and certainly less visual. I think that basketball has, had reached the top of its popularity in the 1990s and 2000s. It certainly has dropped. But baseball, and I think the uniqueness of baseball has grown. And I want to say that one of those values that I think really works for them is that they've come up with the pitch clock, right? And I can tell you as a baseball fan, being in a baseball game for 4 hours is very boring, right? Now you can go to a baseball game, it's 2.5, maybe 3 hours. And I think that they understand the value of timeliness. And I think that that's what we're trying to do as well.
Yeah, completely agree. We've got the same thing. I know cricket's not big in the US at all, but they had originally the test match, which was 5 days, which was run over 5 days. And then they brought out a 1-day version, which got very popular. And then since then, they brought out it's called 2020, but essentially it goes from being 8 hours down to 3. And it's very fast paced, and it's a lot of exciting things happening. So they've really sort of condensed the best part and then presented that. And because it's only 3 hours, it works really well for television, and they've had massive explosion in popularity because of changing that style of presenting the sport.
I agree with you. I think the visual, at the end of the day, the data and the research on a programmatic end states that there's a level of viewership that people will tolerate and want to embrace. And when you get past that, you don't lose credibility in the sport, but you lose credibility in the viewer. And if you can get them in, experience the high, that value of energy, and then get them back out into their normal routines, you win.
Yes.
And I think we're marching in that direction, and it's at the end of the day, time tells, right? I mean, we're going into season 5 as we continue. I wish I could tell you some of the real cool things I've come through on the last 2 weeks since I've last seen you, but I can assure you, season 5 and beyond, with some of the business deals that we've created, it's just going to be a fun time for arm wrestling. I will say that, especially for us in the U.S., internationally as well. But I think that we're getting to a point in arm wrestling in the not so distant future that arm wrestlers outside of social media can earn enough value in prize money and contract money that they can then be able to put more time into the growth of the sport and the growth of their own development in the sport. And I think we're getting very, very close. I can tell you some of the high-end conversations, without telling you them, are looking to put money behind the athlete to really develop them into heroes, if you will, on a international stage, U.S. stage and an international stage, much like the Europeans do. I think we're getting closer. It's a privatized system, though. But it, one of the things I think I do well enough is I'm able to talk the language that can develop those relationships, and hopefully it pays off for the athletes, and that's the win.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, for sure. The fun thing for me, I've only been in the sport for 6 years, but where it was when I started and where it is right now, the difference is night and day. Like tremendous growth, more and more people being aware of it. I mean, when you say that you do arm wrestling, you don't always get that. Oh, is that a real thing? Some people know Devon, some people have been watching it, some people like want to get involved in the sport. Just general conversations with people. They're very excited about the growth of what's happening. I think one of the interesting aspects of what I've been seeing probably in the last 2 years is lots of different organizations trying different rule sets, different presentation styles to find which one's going to be the best way to present this sport. Is it going to be the uber strict like WAF style, or is it more loose rules with more production, or and different table designs and different all sorts of those things as well.
Listen, I'm a fan of Ian and JJ's up there with the Mac. Those are great guys. I think I've yet to get to one of their promotions. It's definitely on my bucket list for 2026. The table is unique. And listen, when somebody makes innovation in a sport, it takes time. And these guys certainly put a time value in, and they're taking a shot with this modified table. I love it. I mean, listen, I hope it catches on. I mean, not in value of coming against WSA. Obviously, we're going to continue to grow, but I think there's a unique style that visually that table brings in, and who knows? There may be a conversation, sooner than later, although it hasn't happened, that we look at that table maybe as something we adopt. I mean, I won't know until I physically get on it. I'm not the arm wrestler that I was a while back, and I'm not saying that was a very good one anyway, but I certainly would enjoy being on that table to see that field difference, and then put a camera on it. I mean, they do production, but I'd love to be able to get a camera in on that table. We're looking at building a table now with a unique optic built into the table to take to limit the footprint of the camera systems. But maybe that design really is what I've been looking for. So I can't wait to get on it. And those guys, they just announced another November show, and I'm fans of anybody that takes the time to put their hard-earned money, their hard-earned values, and try. And these guys definitely are trying and doing well. So, guys, big shout out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ian and all the guys up there from Mac are doing amazing stuff. But I do love the fact that they're trying something different. It's not just the same exact table design. It's got a curve in the center. The playing area, I guess, for your elbow is really wide. I had a chance to get on there a bunch while I was in New York with Dan Schwartz and Dan Centrella, and it was so different because I'm so used to pulling backwards, and this you've got so much room that you can go sideways with. It's
right. And the question that comes into play. Listen, I mean, we all live in the world of safety. We all live in the world of optics. Is the table safe? I think it is. Optically, does it work well for production? I think the time tells where, as we continue to grow in the sport, if that model works. I don't know what it's like to be able to put it, to the test on that end. I think it does. But what it does do is it changes the sport, which is the other thing that I really like about these guys. I mean, if you think about the pad, right, when we all get into arm wrestling, we concentrate on keeping our elbow on that pad, right? I mean, and learning how to leverage that elbow, right, and leverage that pad, how far you can come forward, the what do they call it? There's tactics of being able to feel, right? I'm being more tactical in that end, and then being able to position and leverage. We went from a sport that actually, if you think back in the '80s, it had the big rings. We used to practice on them at Alan Fisher's, where the old over the top tables, where you could actually bury your elbow into that pad, and if your isometrical layout of your arm and how your body genetically is built, you could actually lock in, right? You never know what this new table is going to bring in terms of that dynamic. I mean, does it change the sport? Does it? Listen, is Devin going to be able to beat Levon on that table because it's different? Maybe not. But I'm going to say maybe not. But what I'm saying is that does it change a C level arm wrestler and turn him into a B or B, maybe a B plus level? Does it take a B plus or an A minus level arm wrestler, and turn them into a C, right? I mean, I'll give you an example. Dallas Langston, as Dallas, it became very, very well known as a strap puller. Now he's modified his game to be more, more strength in his wrist and arm control. So he modified his game because obviously people started to catch on to his tactic of being very, very astute in the strap.
Yeah.
Let's go to Mac and let's take the table. Is there an advantage? Is there someone out there right now, and it'd have to be a Canadian arm wrestler because obviously there's not a lot of Mac tables in the U.S. But is there someone out there in Canada that's becoming so proficiently well schooled on that they become an A arm wrestler on that table? Maybe. Who knows? That's why I'm really excited as an engineer through college, albeit a chemical engineer, but still an engineer, someone who solves problems and understands, the physics behind sports and likes to adapt and adopt those principles. I would like to see how that changes the game. And listen, this sport's going to continue to evolve, just like baseball, just like football, just like basketball, just like cricket, just like international soccer. It's going to continue to evolve. And what we see as normal today may not be normal 10 years from now. And these guys may be onto something. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a good point that you brought up about whether or not that design will favor somebody's technique or style. It reminds me of Michael Todd with the WAL tables. With that, they had they were a lot longer, so he was able to sit further back, and that's where you saw that King's move really start coming into play. I mean, it was still out there. It's the open arm top roll, but like Michael Todd really took that to the next level, and he was very, very dominant throughout that period in WAL. But when he went back to the 7-inch pad, he didn't. He was, he was 2 inches that have gone from his ability to maneuver, so it didn't have as much success.
And it's interesting is that WAL was an innovator, right? I mean, they understood that a larger pad allowed for less fouls and better TV, right? And they created a pad that gave them a production value that made the end viewer want to stay attached to the sport longer, right? If Michael Todd could, like you said, could leverage those extra inches, and that match could go, longer and without fouling, right? People will stay engaged.
Yeah.
Right. And if you take it and put it into the WAF's rule set, he doesn't have that ability, and so he has more of a propensity to foul, and it takes it away from the end viewer. Now, purists say the smaller pad wins, but TV says the larger pad has value.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of those things. I remember watching the World Championships for WAF, and it was probably 2 years into the sport. And somebody sent a link, and I was like, "Oh, great! World Championships, this should be awesome." I think I watched for about 10 or 12 minutes, and there was three foul outs in a row, and I was like, "I can't keep doing this." There was no arm wrestling. I was like, "Where's the arm wrestling bit?"
Purism, right? I mean, and there's nothing wrong with the purists that oversee it. I mean, WAF as a value, in my opinion, not that I have the right opinion or wrong opinion. WAF has a value in which they're trying to keep it a continual international rule set consistent, that at some point in time maybe they could take it to an international value like the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
So they have to have that unwavering rule set to be able to do that, right? I mean, the consistency has to be able to translate over multiple tables, over multiple countries, over multiple continents. Excuse me, not continents. And so that's the value. And if they break away from that, then they don't really have a real rule set. However, there's a reason why you don't see WAF arm wrestling on ESPN, right? Yeah. There's a reason why there's a hesitation for a lot of the top pros to engage in it anymore, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a stepping stone, right, for your Europeans, and it's a value for them to be able to stay sponsored and to grow in sport. But at some point, they get away from the championships on WAF because it doesn't translate out well to where the money is.
Oh, I completely agree. Yeah, there's that fine balance, and it would be interesting to see what the method is that really breaks through, and people get engaged, but then the athletes are also satisfied with the rule set that they had a fair match. So it's sort of like, which way do you go? At this point, we're trying to find that perfect match.
You will never please everybody at any time in anything that you do. So,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of the sport and the beauty of choice, right? If you feel as if you don't fit into that rule set or that organization, then you have the opportunity to choose different. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. So what can we say about the upcoming TV series, The House?
Season one is over. We can say that.
Yeah.
We certainly can't say any of the results. We can't give away any of the values. I will say that for you guys out there on the internet, Matt Connelly is actually a beast. He's a big dude, man. I actually, as opposite to Roadhouse with Dalton, Patrick Swayze said, "I thought you'd be bigger." Matt Connelly, I thought, was smaller in height. Right. Obviously, he's built like a bodybuilder, when he throws up those double buys. But I didn't realize you were 6'4", and to me that was something that I can release. That Matt Connelly is absolutely every inch is 6'4". I don't know what that turns out to be in centimeters, but yeah, I think that I can commit to. I can commit to the fact that I think that everyone who participated did the very best, and I was extremely gracious and humbled of the value that all of you athletes brought to the table for me to be able to do this. And I just think that outside of those 2 points, it's going to come out soon enough, and we'll keep it a mystery. So I can say that we've got some great content, and that's about as much dancing on that topic I think I want to do. I appreciate the question, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can say that I had a tremendous time on the show and got to do things I never thought I would experience and see some amazing places in San Diego. And I mean, I wasn't planning on going there, so it was like a last minute thing. And then all of a sudden we were seeing all these amazing places and doing these crazy things and having a lot of fun. And I got to meet a whole bunch of incredible North American arm wrestlers and, hang out with them for a few weeks. And yeah, it was an absolutely amazing experience.
I think I can honestly say from those guys without them being on the air that they felt mutually, mutually happy that you were there. Um, you know, it, I go back to the old saying. I when it comes to arm wrestling, I fell in love with the sport not because of my ability to win. That was never the case, but it was more because of going to an event and being able to hang around with dozens, if not hundreds, of people that have similar, values that I do, and I just truly enjoyed being around
Hmm.
and competing with. I think that's the allure, and I think arm wrestling is one of those sports that internationally translate. Uh, you know, Even though we all have that competitive value behind us all, uh, at the end of the competition, that's kind of put to rest, and we're all out there because we know we're, we're friends, and that's a
Yeah.
I think that is, and I will say that the trick of TV is making that not always the same for the end viewer to see. Right? They want to see some drama. So
Oh yeah.
I will say that we have some drama in the show, and I won't say anything more than that. But there is, in order to keep the interest up, there is some drama. But you'll have to tune in. Uh, and honestly, I think we should have it done in February to release. And I did see some comments out there. And listen, I'm not at all shy to address questions and stuff. I think Drew put it out about the edit and timelines. We're again in this unique position that with ESPN now being a value for us to capitalize on, so our edit for season 3 was actually done very, very quickly. But then we had the opportunity to get to ESPN. And one of the stipulations is that they have to have the first run, right? I mean, that's one of the stipulations is they have to have the first run, right? So we can't show the results and put it out there and then give them a product that they're going to air as a second value. There's really some strength with being on ESPN. They have 179 million global viewers and 25 million paid subscribers to their app.
Wow.
Although I don't have the analytics from them yet, all suggestions say that episodically, from when we dropped it in June through now, we've eclipsed 15 million viewers of just that 30-minute episode, which it's a tremendous value, right? I mean, we've got 15 million, non-YouTube social viewers, people who are on their channel and their app for sports or more. That has become, a big selling tool for us. It says, yeah, sometimes you don't have a choice. Yeah, we don't, and so we have a commitment now, and the product's done, and it's getting actually processed into the Amazon and to Tubi and all of our other platforms to be able to release. But we're going to have the same issue again this coming year, which is a good issue. They're doubling our opportunity and expanding our ability to bring more programming to them. But we're going to have to wait till late summer, early fall to be able to show season 4, and then it's just that way right now. But it's a good problem to have.
Yes, absolutely. It reminds me of Pro Panja in India. Ryan and I went over there last November, and we had a month there, which was when the season 2 was supposed to film. But 2 days prior to it starting, Praveen Devas unfortunately was in a car accident. He's okay now, but he was messed up for a bit, and so they had to postpone the season. And to be able to find another time slot where they were able to use prime time for 21 days in a row, I think it took 9 months before that opportunity came up again. So yeah, it was very difficult for all the athletes, for all the people who put all the time and effort into organizing it, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna have to wait because the network that we're broadcasting this on does not have, like, they've scheduled out their year almost. So if you're not going to take that time slot, like, it's going to be quite a while until you can get back on.
And, we've actually had a lot of conversations with them, and I think that's our international, and I know where to find you, Aaron. I do. I see that comment. And let me tell you something. A lot of people don't realize the talent that's actually out there in the world of arm wrestling. You're looking at a gentleman there who made a comment that is not just an outstanding cameraman. He is involved in a lot of network productions, and he's got a very, very high-end skill set in the world of production. And he's a friend, but with that comment, it's no discounting the fact that he is, an elite cameraman. That's for sure. But getting back to Parman, I'm sorry, I got a little bit of allergies going here today. No, I don't have a habit. I'll let the comments roll after that. But the international value is something that we're going to start really concentrating on in season 5 and beyond. Now, and I want to preface that by saying we're not looking to become a world championship. That is not the end game for us. What we're looking to become is a series and an event that people can participate in that has a unique value of cash that's associated with it. But the uniqueness of world championships are something that we're not interested in that value, right? I mean, it's not. Yeah, the winner of World Series of Arm Wrestling is a value, but we're not interested in making monikers or titles in that, or assertions that would put us in that kind of category. Because I think that's I like WAF. I like the World Championships of WAF and IFA, and the fact that they are structured to be amateur-esque kind of values. Not that amateurs pull in them, but because of the international concept of it, there is no prize money, and it's a unique blend of that. I don't think we fit into that conversation, but I think that we want to have more international participation because it would be great to have a 2-day or a 3-day or a 4-day event where we have 500, 600, 700 of the best arm wrestlers, and we bring it down. And we're giving away $500,000 to $750,000 in prize money to lure them over with that hopes. I think that is not a pipe dream. That's coming. I can't tell you the date, but the conversations that we're engaging in certainly could put this sport, WSA as a sport, into a 7-figure realm annually very soon.
I'm getting excited. I just love the fact that it's all going in the right direction. There's so much growth and interest, and more people are getting involved in it. At my local club, we have new people coming along every week, and yeah, it's really going well. I'm very excited about the future for this sport.
As am I. Listen, at some point the torch gets passed, right? I mean, at 55 years old, I'm not at the end of my game, but the value of what I've tried to accomplish is that whatever WSA continues to matriculate into over the course of the next 10 years, that there's a passing of the value. There's a larger value for someone to come in and continue to grow it and then take the sport, uniquely into the future. Just like every other major, sporting league that there's out there, I think as long as you stay consistent, small steps, structured, consistent steps, we'll get there. I mean, it takes a unique skill set to be able to understand the business end of development and the patience behind it. And I hope that I have that, and time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it that made you decide that you would start putting together a TV show, and then what was the process of what sort of show that you wanted and how it should go about? Was it a spur of the moment thing, or was it something you've always thought about doing?
In terms of why I started WSA, or where we are now at the house? I mean, I did
starting the reality TV show side of things.
It's not unique. I think that as business, anybody in the world of business looks at successful people, and they look at unsuccessful people too. I mean, you can't just look at successful people and assume that you're going to get all the answers. you have to look at a broad range of opportunity and see what went right, what went wrong. If history has told us anything in the world of niche sports growth, the most valuable lesson was the Ultimate Fighter launching for the UFC.
Yep.
You know, the stories of the Ultimate Fighter. Art Davies was actually the original owner of the Ultimate Fighter. It wasn't Dana White.
Yep.
Dana White bought it out from Art Davies. There was a group of actual promoters that were all kind of at equal footing at that time. Terry Troublecock with King of the Cage. Yeah, Monty Cox out in Extreme Fight Challenge, and Dick Rufus had a promotion. So there was all of these, you know, and unfortunately, sadly, Dick passed just recently. So you had all of these promoters on equal footing, and the growth of the sport uniquely was in a value in which Dana actually needed to be bailed out. You know, when his friends in the Fertittas came in and put the money behind them and the casinos behind him, he elevated, right? Most people don't know that maybe the most successful long-term, you know, owner, in my opinion, was actually probably Terry Troublecock, because he's an individual that's made tens of millions, if not more, with King of the Cage over the course of 2 decades. But he did it with his own business savvy and his own business sense. He didn't have anybody bail him out. Not to say that the story or lesson learned is to have rich friends, because I wish I did. But the answer is that he stayed the course. He made a very considerable impact in the world of MMA. Monty Cox, unfortunately, didn't stay the course in terms of longevity. He moved on to some other promotions. He kind of offset it. At one point, actually, he had 5 major. He had 5 world champions out of his management company. But now you fast forward, the equation that took the UFC from here to here, and then to $7.7 billion for 7 years today, was the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah. And
what they did was they created a value of showing these individuals in an outside of competition setting, in a training setting, you know, as in an interviewing setting. And I looked at that and I said, this could be the right step, right? I mean, it could be the reason that takes arm wrestling into the next zone, the next level. It could be the reason why WSA goes into the next level. So as a business person, I kind of studied that value of what made that successful. And I tried to translate that in this new show to be able to emulate that with the hope that we have similar success, right? I mean, so it wasn't a whim by any means. Just like we have other progressions that we haven't released yet, you know, they come with a lot of thought and a lot of determination and a lot of planning.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when you see the release of season 1 and we're already starting to plan for season 2, I think the consistency and the connectivity of that program is going to change that dynamic. And again, getting to that 7-figure payout is not as far away as one might think. It actually is. It's probably within reach for us at WSA, without a doubt, sooner than later. But I can't really put a timeline on it. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, and in the response to what we do. So
yeah.
We'll put it out there in the magical world of manifestation. You know, it's some value in the not so distant future. A $1 million cash prize season, it will come. There's no doubt, it will come.
Why couldn't that have been my season?
season for WSA, not for the house.
Oh,
I'm not ready to put that kind of money up for the house yet. Season two will have the same, you know, win $10,000. I'm comfortable right now developing the show on that level, but you never know, right? I mean, we send season 1 to the networks. We may see that grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see it. I know everyone in the comments, and everyone that has looked at the house stuff is very excited. Can't wait for it to come out. But hopefully, looking around February maybe for distribution and presentation of the event. But yeah, it's been an absolute amazing experience for me, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun for people to watch. There's a lot of things that happen. We're out every day doing stuff, and yeah,
enough dancing.
Not dancing.
Enough dancing, Matt.
I
No,
wasn't dancing.
I don't want something to slip out. So
I won't.
I'm taking you home. You got a 10 p.m. curfew. I'm taking you home.
I'm not as bad as Angry Bird, Adam.
Again, we're dancing. We're not dancing anymore. We're gonna. How about those? How about I don't know. How about the Dodgers? Let's talk about something else.
Yes. Well, it's funny actually. When I was in New York, I went along. We were watching the American football game. It was just like a bunch of guys, and they were watching it on the screen. And I think it was the New York Giants or New York Jets that were playing, and one of the characters, one of the players' names was Scatterboo, and every time he would get the ball, all of these guys would be like Scatterboo, and I can't stop thinking about that sound. It keeps popping in my head, Scatterboo.
Did you go to see the game live, or did you actually go to the stadium, or were you in a place?
No, we were at a place where it was on the big screen, but it was an experience, that's for sure.
You know, it's that, and I don't know how international sports are. I'll answer that for you, Drew, here in a second. I don't know how international sports are in terms of stadium to action distances, but the uniqueness of major sports in America, in my opinion, is the condensation, if you will, the condensing of the fan to the event, and then the ability to translate that energy to the event. Like, so in football, people always talk about how much fan noise can play a big part of it. And you can go to stadiums that's extremely loud, from college football to professional football. Baseball, you know, they're chanting all the time. You know, the fans are right up on the field. Basketball, you're like sitting in an airplane full of people that are just, you know, booing and jeering and cheering and all of those things. That's, I think, the next step for arm wrestling too. You know, I don't know how that gets accomplished. I don't know when or the value, but I think that one of the things that ultimately need to happen in the next decade is that we really have to be able to improve the fan experience. And that's one of the things that we're diligently working on with WSA.
Yep.
The fan experience is the way to grow the sport. The uniqueness of the game the uniqueness of arm wrestling versus everything else is that it's not 360 degrees. It's a 180-degree linear sport. You can't watch it from behind because you've got the refs. You got your head ref. You have to be in front of it. It's a concert-esque kind of value. But if we can somehow create a 360 experience, and again, we're working on that with WSA for the future. But if we create a 360-degree experience and start to be able to bring that to the fan base, I think that's the other missing link in this sport that will catapult it.
Yes.
And I just don't know how to do that, right? I mean, it is a linear sport. You don't have a three-dimensional value, 360 degrees to it, and I'm not sure how we solve that. But and I say that because somebody would say, well, you can put TVs on the other side, but hey, who goes to a rock concert and sits in a blocked seat just to watch a TV screen, right? You know, I want to be in front watching the band, right? I want to be there cheering with the crowd and singing the songs. but music translates different than arm wrestling. Arm wrestling, and maybe that's the Mac table. Maybe there's a way to be able to create a 360 experience with it. I will say this: we've been toying with robotics.
Oh yeah.
And albeit that we're not in the 11th hour, but I'll say within the 2 week out timeline, I've taken it off the table because I still don't believe that we've had enough test runs with the robotics we want to use in terms of production to be safe, right? And we're going to work on that in 2026, season 5. But maybe with robotics, it becomes a 360 experience because maybe we're able to take the head referee out in some value. And I don't know. I mean, I talked about this in the what ifs, but I really believe that if someone can create a 360-degree value and not for, listen, I understand you can put 4 different tables, face them in different ways, and then everybody can watch one table in 360 degrees, but that's not what people want. People want to watch the whole in terms of the value at in any aspect, 360 degrees around. You don't go to a basketball game and sit on the just because you're on the visitor side and not be able to see the whole game in front of you. You see a different perspective, but you see the whole game. You're not watching the Lakers play on the home side and watching the Clippers play on the visitor side, right? Yeah. So the same thing when you get to a championship match, you want to be able to see from all 4 sides, those athletes, and that's the draw. Listen, whoever figures that out, if it's not us first, kudos to you, but I put it out there in terms of the insight when I talk to networks and stuff. That is one of the factors that we talk about.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's so critical, the presentation on the sport for people that are watching either on a stream or even in the audience in person. We had to really nail down our down ref and say, look, like, you cannot stand in the middle of the table during the match. Like, you need to be off to the side. We've got a camera right there. Otherwise, we're going to get a great shot of your back and nothing else. We do see that a lot, unfortunately, with amateur tournaments or local tournaments that are going on, and they put a stream out, and you get the down ref is in the way from 3/4 of the shot, and then it's like, I can't see what's going on. You can put all the elements together. You can have the best athletes, you could have fantastic production, but then just something simple like that, now I can't see it.
Right. And who knows what that innovation is? I mean, with technology the way it is today, growing so fast, there's a solution. There is a solution, and that solution may be in the robotics and the optics end of making the ability to look at the action in a multi-dimensional value with some sort of AI oversight where you don't. Maybe in the future you don't use refs, right? Maybe there's a table. Again, guys, I'm 55. I'm too old to think that this is something that uniquely is going to be WSA. But maybe there's a table that will ultimately set you up grip-wise and have so. Again, talking about the R&D, because I always love to be R&D in anything I do, right? And I'll do a quick aside. Wagyu has these cars that drive themselves, right? They have these optical lenses all around the car to see everything that's going on. And it has an intelligence system that processes all those to make the right decision at every moment, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine we're able to do that in a very structured form with arm wrestling, meaning that, as 2 arm wrestlers come to the table, there are so many optic lenses on that. You no longer need a head ref. You can have them. You can have it come to the table where each man's hand or woman's hand is positioned in a way structurally has to come down, closed thumb, closed hand, and it can read and respond to loading, to movement, and immediately call foul. Now,
Yep.
is that the future? Maybe. Be pretty cool to develop, right? I mean,
Yeah.
But that creates the 360 view, right? I mean, it's the WWE. I got a squared circle in front of hundreds of thousands of fans, and no matter which side you're looking at, you're seeing a value.
Absolutely.
I saw one MMA event where the ref in the ring has camera headshot, has worn like glasses, and the camera is near temple can't. I agree. Listen, Drew. I mean, it's there are lots of creative ways to do this. Production wise, though, there's several rules of production that you always have to have. You have to have what they call an open shot. And what the open shot is kind of the money shot, right? It's being able to see the action in front of you. Then you have your POVs, and certainly a referee's POV with glasses and optics in terms of the camera is a unique value. But even that value in terms of production is not as overwhelmingly as important as in terms of your establishing an open shot. But it's going to come. Smarter people than me are out there, that's for sure. I'm about a 30-watt bulb on a 60-watt tree. So I'm sure that there's plenty of smarter people in our sport that are already thinking this through and are months, if not years ahead of me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Well, we might look at wrapping things up here. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always, to talk to you, Greg. You were doing some tremendous things for the sport of arm wrestling and got so much growth from what you've done with the ESPN, with the reality show, with all the tournaments that you're putting together. You're in season 4 at the moment for World Series of Arm Wrestling, and moving into building up an even bigger prize pool for next year. And I think you're doing absolutely amazing stuff.
I appreciate you, Matt. Anytime I get a chance to talk to you and be on the air, it's an absolute pleasure. And so, and now we have stories to tell in the back room until the show comes out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure it's not on air when I say.
Exactly.
No worries. All right, mate. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next time.